Want to know the number one tip to be more approachable and friendly? Then you are going to love this interview because we give you so much more than just one tip. But we're going to talk today all about body language and making sure that your body language is portraying exactly what you want it to do. Today's interview with body language expert Blanca Cobb was full of insight into why body language is so important and how we can make sure that our words and bodies are more aligned to give the right message at the right time. So if you're ready to discover the secret of positive, powerful body language, then get ready for an awesome interview with Truthblazers CEO Blanca Cobb. Hello, everyone. Today, I am extremely excited to welcome Blanca Cobb to the show. She is a body language and nonverbal communication expert who uses her behavior analysis and expertise background to break down the complexities of human behavior and communications. She's the CEO of Truthblazers and a senior instructor at the Body Language Institute in Washington, D.C., and has been featured on many, many television shows like CNN, Fox, ABC, CBS, and so much more. Blanca has been trained to a level of expertise that most civilians never have the opportunity to do, and we're very glad that she took time out of her busy schedule to be here with us today. So thanks for joining us, Blanca.
Of course, I'm happy to be here.
So a little bit in your own words about who you are and what you do.
Well, you just said it. I'm a body language and nonverbal communication expert. Also, I have an expertise in statement analysis, and that's listening to people's words and seeing where some hot spots are where they may not be telling the truth, and a behavior analyst. So I have a master's degree in psychology. So I really dive into like what motivates people, what their intentions are, how their mind works, and how that plays out in their life.
That's
and what I like to tell people is that I uncover what you don't see. And I'm talking about in interactions with other people, in communication, in talk, whether it's professional, whether it's personal, whether it's a love, in all of those areas, because you're always sending messages to people.
And most people get trapped up in the words and they think that that's the big thing, but your body language and your actions say so much more.
Absolutely, because I could be right here and be like, yep, thanks for having me today. So glad I'm here. And you'd be like, really? I don't think so. She's saying the right things, but her affect and her body language is indicating something totally different. So when there's a disconnect in what you show versus what you say, guess what? People are going to believe what you show.
And so what got you started into this crazy field of studying body language?
It's a little complicated. When I was a little girl, I was abused. And when I was little, I didn't realize what I was doing at the time until I was older and I was in therapy, can reflect back on my life. But as a little girl, I was always trying to figure out like when the next blow was coming. So what that meant for me was I was paying attention to body language. I was paying attention to different tone of voices. I was paying attention to all kind of nonverbal cues, but I didn't know what I was doing at the time. I was just trying to figure out like how to dodge, like getting hit. That's what I was doing. And then, that led into some high school crap and bullying and all this other kind of stuff where I was already a victim, as you might imagine. When you're a little girl and you're already suffering from these things, you really don't have much of a self-esteem. At least I didn't. So it made me an easier target. And then as I became an adult, then I realized that I could use body language. And actually, I found something on the internet about body language and how you could use it to improve your life, how to read people, how to understand people better. And that's how the passion came in. And then when I realized that I could not only understand myself and the messages that I'm sending out, but actually reading other people, that's really powerful because it's a different way of connecting. It's a different way of understanding. It's a different way of relating to people.
I totally agree. And when you've studied this, or you don't even really have to study it, it's simply being more observant in your everyday life. It's almost like having a superpower.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's a good way of putting it. And people don't realize that they have this superpower.
Right. They never even tap into it because they're so busy looking at their phones or they're on autopilot all day and they don't look up and actually look around.
So true. So true.
Now, speaking about phones and tablets and people really not paying attention, how do you think that has affected not only people reading body language, but people's body language themselves, with hunched shoulders over computers all day and just not interacting how we used to?
It makes people lazy. Think about it. It is so convenient to pick up your phone, look at it, press a couple of digits or numbers, whatever you're doing, and you just send. whether it's an app, whether it's a text, whether it's an email, because we're all about convenience. We're all about speed. We're moving on to the next thing instead of really taking the time to make an impact, to understand, to connect with somebody. That's where the power is. You don't have a relationship with your phone. You don't have an intimate relationship with your phone. You're not raising children on your telephone. And you're surely, well, a lot of people do business, but I'm not talking about placing orders. I'm talking about connecting with people. So I do think technology has made us lazy to a certain degree.
I totally agree. And, we place so much importance on the phone. I was at a conference the other day and they said, take your phone out of your pocket, hand it to the person next to you. And how does that, how does that make you feel?
No! Vulnerable!
And you can see people are like visibly uncomfortable. It's still locked, it's off, it's whatever, but just handing it to the person next to them and they're like, oh, I don't know. Because we place so much value on that rather than on other people, which I find to be crazy right now.
It's so true. That's a great example. I can just imagine. I mean, whenever I touch my teenage daughter's phone, she's like, whoa, what are you doing? Like back off, Mom.
I love it. Now, I know that, so your expertise is in, body language and deception and lying. So what are some of those big tells that you can see if someone might be being a little more deceptive toward you?
Well, first of all, there's no one universal sign of lying. There's no Pinocchio effect where your nose grows. However, it's really understanding what you're seeing in somebody else's behavior and also listening to their words. And I always talk about baseline. So in my world, it's what we talk about baseline. You have to understand how someone typically acts. Do they use their hands when they talk? Are they fast talkers, slow talkers? Are they animated? Do they gesture? Do they look up and to the right when they're talking? Not because it means anything when they look up and to the right, but what is it that they're doing? How are they presenting themselves? And the reason you get this baseline, because when there's a change in it, it's like, aha, something's different. You may not exactly know what it means, and that's where powerful questions come in. That's where you have to do a deep dive to figure out what's going on for that person. But if you really want to find out about veracity, it's more about listening to people's words, what they're telling you, how they're using grammar, what's the structure, the content, where the emotions are. You're listening for tenses and pronouns. That gives you a better sense. Because people do try to control their body language, particularly when they're lying, when they're hedging, when they're being hesitant, because they know you're going to pay attention to it. So they're going to try to calm it down or bring it up, because their liars are all about convincing you instead of conveying information.
And as soon as you start trying to control your body language, people can see the wheels turning. They can see that something's not right.
Yeah, because it's not authentic. There's this mismatch. That's like, oh, you're trying too hard. Or you have this sixth sense, like something just isn't right. I can't put my finger on it right now, but something isn't right with this person.
And I love that you said it's all about the baseline and not about a specific situation, because you can scour the internet and find like the top 3 ways people are lying. And it's just not that simple.
Right, because if it were that simple, there'd be no point in having the Innocence Project, because every judge, jury, and lawyer and cop would be able to see through the lies. Like, someone's confessing to something they didn't do. Why would you do that? It's not that simple, as much as we want it to be. However, the better you know someone, the easier it is to pick up on their tells, because you pay attention. So think about it. Let's say you have a romantic partner, and we're going to call him Charlie. All right, so when Charlie's getting pissed off because the jaw, you see the tension in the jaw, right? Or Charlie starts tapping his fingers, or Charlie's looking away, or right, exactly, the eyebrows fur up, whatever it is, it's because you pay attention. It's the same thing when you're having a conversation with somebody. It's just paying attention to what you see.
I love it. Now, on a 180, on the flip side, so to make yourself more approachable and likable, what are some ways that people can go about doing that in a natural way?
Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you a secret. Smile. People don't smile. They don't. Everyone is so serious, because if you're serious, you're going to be more respected, or you're going to come across more confident, you're going to come across more intelligent. I call baloney on all of that. To be approachable, you have to smile. You have to relax, visibly relax, and then have open body language. Because if I'm, have an elbow pop, or I'm in the middle of the room, like against a bar or something, where my back is to the bar and I'm facing out of the room, that's more approachable than if I'm on my phone, or I'm turned, I'm hunched over, I'm looking down, and I'm facing down. People are going to be like, wait a second, she's busy. She doesn't want anyone to come talk to her. you're having a bad day, or whatever million and one reasons people come up with for why someone's behaving in a certain way.
And I think the most powerful thing about that with the use of, smiling and open body language is that it's an instant fix.
Exactly. And that is a really good point you bring up. It is instant.
Yeah, I love it. Now, with some of the people that you work with, do you have any favorite success stories or light bulb moments of people that just go, oh, okay, I get it now?
Yes. Well, what I love to do, and I've had the opportunity to do this on occasion, is that some people will hire me to become like a coach for them. And so what that means is when we talk about love, and I will get to go to a bar or a restaurant. So it's almost like I'm a fly on the wall. So I'll sit at a distance and I get to watch the interaction, because people are so focused on what somebody else is doing, what somebody else is saying, what somebody else is acting, because you don't walk with this mirror and you can self-reflect. So I'm like that mirror for people. This is a sign. These are the signs that you're missing. This is what you're putting out, because it's an ebb and flow of information, the silent information between you and somebody else. So that is fun. And when someone gets that light bulb moment and they're like, oh, that's what I was doing? I didn't realize I was like giving the cold shoulder. I didn't realize that I wasn't giving them eye contact, or I was looking off, or I'm very distracted.
I love that.
Those are the moments I love.
That would be so incredibly helpful, because like you said, people get wrapped up in reading everyone else and they forget what they're actually conveying.
Yeah.
So you're like the little person in the shoulder that's like, hey, stand up straight.
That's right.
Now, so what else is sort of included? Like, say someone hires you for a body language coach. Outside of that experience, how are some of the ways that you work with your people?
Well, associations or companies hire me to come in and train their people, their staff. I work with a C-suite. I mean, I work with everybody in an organization. Also for keynote speaking, so I can talk to hundreds or thousands of people at a time. And then, as you said earlier, I'm on television a lot. So whether it's a national TV, regional, or local, what I do is I'll take real life situations, whether it's work, whether it's personal, whether it's friendships, love, parenting, whatever it is, and then I make it relatable to you. So I can take it like the story of the day, even if it's pop culture, and then I can tweak it and make it relatable to you. So my whole goal is to help people.
I love it.
Become people savvy. The whole thing is about people savvy, because you don't live in a bubble. At least you shouldn't live in a bubble. You're always interacting with somebody. Always.
That's it. Our goal with what we're doing here is to try to put the human back in humanity. That's what we say all the time.
I love it. I love it. That's exactly right. And part of that is connecting. Yeah. You have to connect with somebody else. Look, we're doing three things all the time. You're either connecting, reconnecting, or disconnecting with people. But then how do you do it in a way that works for both people? Like, even if you disconnect, so let's say you're breaking up with somebody, or you're leaving a job, or you're going through a divorce, that's a disconnection, because that's ultimately what you want to do. But how do you do it in a way that is tactful, that is respectful, and you can part on friendlier ways?
Right. You don't want to burn those bridges if you don't have to.
Right. Exactly.
And I love that you mentioned about being on the news and telling your stories. And it's something that, as we were doing our research and looking up everyone and watching those clips, it's so important how body language is. It's just incredible, because before you even open your mouth, you're on stage, you're getting ready to talk, and people just go, I like her. There's something about her. And it's all the body language, like the way you stand, the way you present yourself. And I love that it's so simple that with these little tweaks that anyone can do it. Anyone in the world can do it.
Like, even how you get out of your car, how you stand up from the chair to walk onto a stage, you're communicating something. And you always have to remember this. You're always being watched. I mean, particularly now, whether it's a phone, whether it's a camera, whether it's something, you're being watched. And which is kind of freaky, I think. I mean, because then there's no more privacy, but that, we could dovetail into the whole other issue, right?
Gotcha. Now, what would you say are probably the top 2 or 3 skills that are necessary to excel in today's workforce?
Oh, today's workforce, I think you do have to read body language. You have to become people savvy. And part of being savvy is not only what you're projecting, but also understand what's being projected to you. But then you also have to have compassion. I believe people need to be compassionate, and they have to be empathetic. And you have to get over yourself. A lot of times it's just what you think about yourself or what you think about other people that you get in your own way. And I think that derails folks.
I totally agree. You've got to clear out, slow down a little bit
Yeah.
and be empathetic. I was just saying the other day, you don't have to walk a mile in anyone's shoes, but in today's world, take 5 seconds and put yourself in someone else's shoes and it'll make a big difference.
Exactly.
Now,
Totally agree.
if someone wants to start, finding out more about body language, where would you recommend as a good place to start?
Oh, a good place to start. Well, there's some great books on the market about body language. I mean, Alan Pease has a book. Joe Navarro has a book. They're great. There's some really good books out there on body language.
Yeah, and I think that's important because, somebody may just Google up body language tips and find who knows what, but it's important to look at who wrote that article, who is actually a body language expert, who's, been on the news, who's been cited before. So before someone just jumps in with both feet, figure out where in the world you're getting your information from.
Right. And of course, you can always look me up. You can have a YouTube channel. You can see all of my segments about body language and you can reach out to me. But if you're looking for a book, I mean, I'm working on my own book now, so that's why I'm not promoting it, but it's in the process. However, there are some reputable, well-respected body language experts out there.
Now, speaking of your site and your website, you said you're working on a book. What other projects are you working on at the moment?
Well, right now I'm working on a book, and it's about connecting with people. It's what I said earlier. You're either connecting, reconnecting, or disconnecting, and how do you do that? What does that look like? And it's a book about real people, real stories, real situations. So any of your viewers, listeners out there who want to be a part of this project, they can reach out to me, and then we can talk about it and see how that might be a fit. But I think personal stories are very powerful, personal situations. Like, what did you learn from it? If you had to go back and do it again, what would you do differently? And then some insight that I could give. Because here's the deal. Your experience, somebody else is either had or they're going to have. So it can benefit other people.
I love it. And now you said they can get in touch with you, but what's the best or easiest way to do so?
You can go to my website, which is blancacobb.com, or you can reach out to me at blanca@blancacobb.com.
Gotcha.
Send me an email. Mm-hmm.
And what would you say is the favorite part of your career in studying body language that you've had the chance to experience? Whether it's the news or the people you've got to meet or work with, what's your favorite part?
Oh, my favorite part, when I can make an impact in somebody's life. We all go through crummy things from time to time, and it's all relative, our own experiences, but something that I can share from my life to make someone else's life better makes me very happy. It brings me a lot of joy. If there's any way that I could stop other people's pain from happening, I would love to do that. If you're more successful at work, you're more successful in your love relationship, you're more successful as a parent, you're more successful as a partner, whatever it is, I would love to do it. And of course it is fun to be on TV. I think it's a lot of fun because then what I really like about the national platform, like being on the Today Show or Dr. Oz or Dr. Drew, is that just think about the number of people that I can reach in that one segment. And that is really powerful because to me, it's all about helping somebody else and improving somebody else's life.
It's totally true. I mean, we understand that we're working with communication, job coaches, body language experts, all these people to master these soft skills, but it's not always the sexiest topic to be on the news. It's so to be able to have that platform and show people it is this important. It needs to be out there. They need to know this, that you have the chance to do so is absolutely incredible.
Yes, because if anyone out there thinks that you're not being sized up, you're wrong. Someone is always sizing you up. From the grocery store to the bank to work, wherever you go, someone is sizing you up. That's just how we are. Think about it. It's part of survival. We need to figure out who we can trust, who we can't trust, who you want to develop a life with, who do you want to bring in that inner circle. We're always sizing people up. We're analyzing, trying to figure it out. And the thing about body language, when you do it correctly, you can get a better sense of someone's state in that moment, their emotional state, what perhaps they're thinking, what their intent is.
I love that you brought up being in the moment because that's so critical. People think, what's next? Or they're sidetracked by the phone, or what do I need to say? And if you're just in the moment, making eye contact, having a conversation, you're going to connect on such a deeper level simply from those few things.
Absolutely. I always say that like. That's what we're looking for. I mean, I haven't met anybody yet who's like, I love hanging out with my worst enemy. That doesn't happen. You want to hang out with people who get you, who understand you, who you have fun with. Again, that's part of connecting. It's part of body language.
I love it. Now, on a personal note, to get to know you a little bit more, I know that you are an inspiration to many. They look up to you, but who is an inspiration to you?
People who will push through their fear and still do what they're scared of. And these are all walks of life. I'm talking about kids who will first get into the ocean. It's that, to somebody who's starting a business. So it's not really one person, because I've struggled with fear off and on throughout my life. I've even written a chapter that's published in a book about how to overcome fear. As a kid with my history, there was a lot of fear. So being able to succeed in the face of fear and getting out of your own way, I think that's very inspiring. And there are millions of examples every day. We see it in the news, we can read it online, and then you can just see it in your daily life, that people will push through to still get to where they want to go. And I think that's very inspiring.
I love it. I've been on repeat for the last week ever since I heard this, but a gentleman said, you've got to live your life as if you dropped a pen on the ground. Either you're going to pick it up and go, or you're going to leave it there. There is no in between.
Right.
And
I like that.
It's the same thing.
Great.
Pushing yourself out of those comfort zones, it's not always the easiest thing to be your most authentic or genuine self, but it's the one thing that's going to get you the most results, the most approachability, the most kindness in others, and putting that best foot forward.
Absolutely. It's easier to hide. It's easier to hide and stay in that same place.
Yeah, I love it. You said it earlier, we're lazy. We want the instant solution. And all it takes is a few extra seconds and a little bit of empathy, and we can connect and make such a bigger impact in other people's lives. And that's what really gets us remembered. People want to be remembered, but simply connect with people.
Exactly.
Now, I know you've got to have conversations with incredible people all over the world, but this is one of my favorites. If you could have a conversation with anyone, past, present, future, fact or fiction, who would it be?
That's a great question. And I have to think here for a second. Who do I want to talk to? There are a lot of people I don't want to talk to, but I would love to talk to Sylvester Stallone. I find his story incredible. When he was being doubted and people were like, there's no way we're going to hire you. Yes, we know that you wrote it. You wrote Rocky, but you're not playing Rocky. You don't have what it takes to play Rocky. And he's like, you know what? Forget all of you, because I am Rocky. No one's going to do it better than me. I mean, he believed in himself. And then he had to sell his dog, which I think is very heart-wrenching. He had to sell his dog because he had no money. Good thing that he could buy, I think the dog's name was Buckfist, that he could go and buy his dog back. But I just love that story of perseverance and the belief, because sometimes no one else is going to believe in you but yourself. And look what he's done. And I think that's inspirational, what he's done, how he started his career.
I think that would be a fabulous conversation to have. Now, do you have any favorite books or book recommendations?
No, I don't have a book recommendation, but one thing that I like to do is I like to read different types of genres. So for me, it's romance, and sometimes it's a little spicy romance, if you know what I'm saying. So for me, it's like, find something that's out of your comfort zone, explore something new. I think when you do, it really helps with creativity. At least it does for me. It's a different way of thinking. It's not only reading the words, but understanding the message that the author is trying to make. And sometimes it's just like an escape from reality for a little while. It's like watching a movie. You have an hour and a half to 2 hours of just focusing in on something else. And I think that can do wonders for you.
I totally agree. I like to read a fact and a fiction book at the same time. In the fiction, it's great to get lost. Sometimes you want to learn or, self-improvement and whatnot, but other times you just want to get lost in a story. And I totally agree with that. Now,
the only problem with me is when I get into a good book, I won't put it up until it's over because I want to know. So I'm like staring at my phone. I got Kindle on the phone. I'm like, oh my gosh. All right. So what do I have to do? And then how long is it take me to do it before I can jump back on and finish reading?
I love it. Now, we covered it before, but I just want to bring it back around to make sure. So if someone wants to get in touch with you, the best way is BlancaCobb.com. Is that correct?
Yep, BlancaCobb.com, or shoot me an email, Blanca@BlancaCobb.com. Or I'm on social media. Everything is at Blanca Cobb. So whether it's Blanca Cobb. So whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, you can find me. Everything is at Blanca Cobb.
Awesome, awesome. Now, final question. Is there anything that you wish I had asked? Or any final words of wisdom?
Live your possibilities. That would be my words of wisdom. Live your possibilities.
Yeah, everyone has a purpose and a passion, and you just have to be self-reflective, find it, and go do it.
Absolutely. And part of living your possibilities, you have to push through that fear. You have to knock over those obstacles and just keep going. Because you have more courage than what you think. You have more power than what you think.
I love it.
You just have to take action.
Awesome. Well, Blanca, this was tons of fun. I truly enjoyed and glad that you took time out of your day to be here. We covered all different types of topics. I'm going to have a heck of a time writing a description for this. But I'll make sure to put all the links down below for everyone who's watching. And once again, thanks so much for joining us, Blanca, and you have a fabulous day.
Thank you.
And that's all, folks. What did you think? Let us know your favorite thing that you learned in the comments in the section below. And if you know someone who could use a little bit of hints and tips and tricks on body language, be a pal and share this video with them. I know that they will most certainly appreciate it. I've also included links to Blanca's website, books, courses, and the rest all in the description. Go ahead and take a read. There's lots of great information in there for you. Tried to make it as simple as possible. And as always, click subscribe down in the corner so you never miss a video, because every Wednesday we're releasing brand new interviews with industry experts and influencers so that you can get the very best tips right from the source. As always, check us out on the web at lifesecretsauce.com. You most certainly don't want to miss our brand new Millennial Magnetism course. You can discover how to unleash your inner awesome in only 10 minutes a day. All the information, where is it? Right down in the links below. Until next time, ciao for now.